First of all, thank you so much for coming. And my name is Patrick Hong, and I'm now as a professor at the Ontario Tech University in Toronto, near Toronto, not exactly Toronto. And today I just want to tell you about our experience in social robot, a snapshot of what we have done. And you see the title is, actually we start from anthropomorphic robot, like humanoid robot, and start now we focus more on morphic robots. I'll tell you why, the reason, okay? So before I start, I should give credit back to my research students here, it's my team here. Actually, I just talked to my students, some of them, they are now back in Taiwan, and they are still working on the robot. I just talked to them before on the way, on the train. Like, do this, okay, don't do this. Okay. So I think you know what is social robot, right? I don't have to tell you about this thing, but one thing is, in North America, when I talk about social robot to some older adults, okay, and then somehow I have to use the example to Rosie from the Jackson cartoon because they will understand, okay, now you talk about this robot, not the robotic arms, okay? And of course, people always ask about the ethics in robots, right? All these 3 laws and by the 4th laws. And usually in my class, I teach a social robot class to undergraduate students. I will use as what she suggests we do the Detroit Become Human this game. Also, I will also use the iRobot, the movie from Will Smith to describe about this, even though recently about this I think it's Netflix, right? I forget which one. I think this one as well to example in my class, what are these laws apply and with discussion. But as I said, before the pandemic, we focused using by one robot, cheap robot from Asus company from Taiwan called Zambo. How cheap? Cheap, less than $1,000.
Oh, wow.
But the problem is, they were not selling this robot in North America. I carried one by one from Taiwan to Toronto. And I brought one to Germany. I left at my friend's in Darmstadt, her lab there. And then because I used that robot before the pandemic, actually today I came from Oxford. And then actually I taught a social robot class to business students in Oxford for one summer. And then I brought the robot there, demonstration. After that, I just passed it to my friend here for research. But this one good thing is this robot is because cheap, you don't expect too much, like a BBA on RD2, the leg can move, the head can move, and the body just walking. Okay, no arms, no legs. And the good thing is the face is a tablet PC from Asus, so it's running Android OS. So technically, you can use the API just like you run your Java app on Android device, and you can drive the robot. But the robot is empty, nothing inside, which we know is empty. Some stupid basic function, And I think we test this robot in different occasions before the pandemic, even though we worked one time with the Toronto City Airport. They want to see whether they can use the robot to replace the human customers, the help desk at the airport. And even though this project we learned from thing is about, we have to put a sideboard behind the robot to break the ice. But some people they thought, okay, what was this robot? They don't dare to touch the robot or ask the robot anything. You have to provide a sideboard for them to say, okay, what this robot can do. Okay. And also with a badge, you see, a staff badge to say that this robot is from the authority. Okay, in a public area. Okay. So and we test different phases. Okay, I don't talk about that. But one thing is we test this one in a sick kid's home right before the pandemic. And this boy, he got brain cancer. And he could not go to school. Every day he stayed with his sister at home. At the time is we programmed the robot teaching the kids 5 days mathematics, 2 hours per day. So what do is we conduct the whole thing total under control. What happened is we brought the robot to their home for 2 hours and then took it back to the lab. They say took it back to their home, only 2 hours. Okay. And because why? Because as you know, you don't expect this robot is very, very, very autonomous. Right? I did not want to disappoint the kids. First part. So and this project technically is this is Toronto News.
A Toronto organization is trying out robots as companions for children who could use a friend. A pilot project is starting to bring robots into the homes of ill children who can't go to school. Lorena Redekop explains how it works.
Hello, my friend. My name is Zimbo.
This little robot
robot and others like it will go out to families like this one.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Ethan.
This is the first time 7-year-old Ethan Hayes and his big sister Chloe are meeting Zembo.
I love cookies. Do you like cookies too?
Yeah.
Their little friend also tests their math skills. Ethan and Chloe don't always agree on the answer.
1, 2, 1, 2.
William will add one large egg.
Ethan was diagnosed with brain cancer a year ago. It's been a tough time. 5 surgeries, radiation treatments in the US, chemotherapy at sick kids. Plus, he couldn't go to school.
He just is a warrior and he got through the year. So we're happy that he's back at school last week, and it's exciting about this robot and the opportunities for other kids in the same situation.
The charity Kai Lifeline Canada already has services for families going through a serious illness and thought robots could fill an extra need.
Perhaps help a child who might be home from school for a long time, might not be able to see his friends or family because of isolation. Hopefully help him with his homework and just be around, tell him stories, play games, dance.
It's our solo time.
Chloe's a fan of the dancing, and you never know what a robot might say next.
Shake your butt with me.
Take your butt with me.
He seems to get the thumbs up from the whole family.
It's good to have a tool where a little buddy, and he can learn with the robot, and it's exciting for the opportunities that can come about. Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think the robot can be your little buddy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you want him to come back? Zambo's definitely welcome to return.
Anytime.
Anytime Zambo wants to come back, he can come.
Anytime.
Lorenda Radikoff, CBC News, Toronto.
So give you some idea what the robot could do, right? You can imagine about all the technology behind it. And of course, the bad thing is because after this, the pandemic came, we somehow almost stopped the experiment, right? And this is what the story. Okay, so but however, we observe some behavior from the kids. Okay, for example, like why we changed to the zoomorphic robot, I can tell you later on, but from this case. So another way, what we have been doing is we have been trying this robot in different culture. Because I always say all these social robots, no matter they are made in the US or in Asia or in Finland, they all speak like American. Definitely they speak American English, okay? There's no doubt, okay? And then what happened with this robot will be acceptable in another culture. So that's why at the time we work with the people in Malaysia and also people in UAE, Saudi Arabia. And then this is what we test on the campus about this robot with the students. But however, we found at the time we found a more serious application in the UAE, saying what this robot could do in the future. One thing is about, they told us about, I mean, it's not their own problem, it's a global problem. It's about the older adults always forget to take pills. I mean, not only UAE, everywhere in the world, same thing, right? Even though I forget. and then we saw all, see all these solutions on the market, right? I mean, a pill dispensing box in plastic box, an alarm, an app. I think all these things, they do not work if you do not follow. Very simple, it's just alarm clock. Right? This morning, my alarm clock ring me at 7 a.m. I just ignore it until 8 a.m. I woke up. I was almost late to the conference. And then you say anybody has been starting doing this a robot? Yes, crowdsourcing again, like Sophia. Never came, okay, again. And they do a robot called Hero, and then something like desktop robot, and then with a glass here, drop the pills for you, and then when the time goes, hey, take pills. And one thing is you see what they're focusing on is about the eye gaze.
Yeah.
In healthcare, I think you know that what I do have eye, and it's number one eye gaze, right? So that's why you see some people, even though they can go back home but maybe the hospital request some patient to go back to the hospital every day to take pills. Make sure they take pills, right? They look at that, the nurse, eye gaze, right? This is what eye gaze. But again, never come this robot. Like Sophia, into Sophia. And eventually we said, okay, what happened if we use this sample? The original sample, and use a cheap approach, just carry a cheap plastic dispensing box on the neck, and then can we do something? So this yeah, this is, and somehow The time is we use a animation to simulate the environment, what this robot can do at home. So something like, like, okay, like the wife put the pill into the robot and then tell the robot, hey, you know what, at 5 p.m., find my husband. You might take pills, for example, right? And the robot just navigate at home. And of course, don't expect this robot can go to the second floor, right?
Yeah.
Don't expect that, no legs. And then once you authenticate, right? And then take pills, and then okay, pills done. And then the robot will help me for the wife. Okay, done. Like this one, right? If the husband refuse, sometimes older adults, my father, he will refuse. He said, why you ask me like this? And then you tell to the wife, and the wife will be very upset. This is what the idea. Okay, like this. And I think the key point here is about, because this robot will stay in this Islamic family, right? So the robot should understand the culture. Otherwise, how can robots live with them, right? One thing culture is very simple. You can imagine, you can understand. It's about when the person is praying, right? This robot should shut up.
Yeah.
And wait for finish praying and say, hey, take the pills. That's why a lot of rules. I don't talk about that. That's why we build a prototype, like something like this.
Start.
So what you do?
This one was about to start.
Okay, so something, I mean, these are all things you can imagine, but this is what a model we built, machine learning model computation, to recognize the gesture of the body. And through a sequence of images, you can determine whether they're praying or not praying, or they're just nail down, drop, pick like pen on the floor, right? Or really praying. So this is what we are still working on testing. And then we last year in June, we show it to the health organization in Abu Dhabi, and we should go back. Maybe later next year, I don't know, maybe this year, I'm not sure. Okay, so another project we did before the pandemic using a humanoid robot. Yes. As you talk to those companies, when they build humanoid robot, you ask them, who are your customers, right? Who are the users? They will tell you either children or older adults, right? Two groups, majority. Our future question was about, did they really ask the older adults whether they accept a robot at home or not? Okay, doesn't mean they were accept it, right? You say they're the customers. So at the time, we got a funding from the Office of the Privacy Commission of Canada. The underlying agenda is whether any privacy concerns. Okay, so and then I work with my colleagues from social science humanities, two female professors, and then we conduct a series of the Wizard of Oz fake AI demonstrations, scripted. And then we went to aging houses in Ontario, in Quebec, in British Columbia, and then we generate this of report here on the government website. You can access the report, and then we went there. We showed them a illusion, fake. Okay, we didn't tell them fake. Okay, after that we interview them. What do you think? Okay, I don't have to tell you all the story, but tell you the first visit. We went to the aging house in Ontario. We met with 11 older adults over 65 years old, 2 male, 9 female. When we went there, we found all of them, they have a smartphone. They're working on something. Okay, playing games or whatever, doing investment, e-banking, and then Amazon, everything. You could imagine. And somehow, after that, unsurprisingly, more of them worry about privacy. They ask, who is behind this guy? They're very smart. They always behind this robot. And also, one thing is they worry about unwanted advertising. I think they learn from all the act. They don't want to see that. Okay, all the rest, I don't think, they don't see themselves as the customers. I think that's very interesting. You see, most of the companies, they think they're customers, but they themselves don't think they're the customers. I mean, it's something contradict with what people believe. Because why? They worry about setting up the robot, you can understand. They say, I don't have the skill, I don't know how to set the robot, too complicated. I worry about, I'll break the robot, very expensive. And I think the fourth point is very interesting. I like this point, they worry about losing their abilities. What that means is, because we gave them an illusion, far more than realistic, okay? They said, okay, if so, my husband doesn't need me to cook for him. Robot can do it. He said, oh, I'll lose my ability, I'll lose my job. There's this worry. And we found the same thing about animal. I'll tell you in the coming slide. And then I mean the rest thing would be just regular, I would say. And you want to see more results, you can go to see the report published on the website. We conduct a similar thing, but not the same extensive same setting in Brazil. Want to see another culture, right? What we learned from this project was when we went to Brazil, we worked with the team over there, this team. We found that first of all, it's about two things. One thing is about the language barrier, because in Brazil they speak Portuguese, right? And then this robot can only speak English. And then, oh, that's easy. Google Translate. If you do that, you will lose the API, the interface, the face. You cannot say, okay, I ask this, I use same face and speak Portuguese by Google. And what happened is in the end, we just make the robot to speak Portuguese with English accent. We put it in English, and then see it translates. Of course, the student with here translate doesn't understand Portuguese. You try to change the pronoun, change the spelling, and then we translate Portuguese, but with strong English accent. Luckily, in the end, most of the older adults here with us, they could understand. Okay, that's good. Second thing we learned is about the size doesn't matter. We brought two robots there. One is Sambo, one is Sambo Junior. And then we thought they would say this is a baby, that is a boy. Eventually they said this is a toy, that is a robot. So size doesn't matter. They think this is a toy. They don't take it seriously. They think this is a toy. So okay, this is a real robot. They all focus on this guy. So size doesn't matter in the uncanny valley, I would say that. Okay. So we conduct some experiment with them, some activities with them with two groups of older adults. This is in the air, we took a picture. And then unsurprisingly, nobody mentioned about privacy concern. No surprise. No surprise to us. We did that so many people before. We know that Brazilian, they don't care about privacy. That's fine. Okay, fine. Okay, no mention. It's okay. It's normal. Okay, if somebody mention, I would say it's something abnormal. Okay, but they mentioned the 2.0 interesting, saying that computer robot cannot replace a compelling human. Emphasize this point. I think it's because, as I said, we gave them some illusion, and they may think, okay, this is so powerful, and then some. But however, they still think. I think it's because of the religious background, Catholic. Okay, number two. Computer robot can make other people even more dependent. This is like the same concern in Canadian. So this is what we learn is sometimes we make some technology where we can help the people, make your life easier, make you much lazier. But they don't want to do that. They want to see that. But same thing as I do, right? I mean, sometimes I carry a luggage to a university, give a talk, and say, Professor, I can help you to carry your luggage. No need. I can do it. Okay, right. The same thing, right? Why I said the privacy concern is not a concern. Privacy is not a concern, not surprise me, because many years ago, 2017, 16, we used a Hello Barbie toy from Mattel, and then and experiment in Brazil and Argentina compare the people what they think about like Barbie doll can speak like Siri at the time, right? And then what happened is same result, Brazilian. We conduct experiment with the professor and the students. None of them they mentioned about privacy concern. But you did a thing in Argentina. The people they number one, they say, who is behind this one? The Barbie took my voice, where Barbie will store my voice. They will ask all this question. So that's why I'm not surprised. And okay, not surprised because if you know there's a German model up there in marketing. Describe about different age, nation, country, area, region. They have different perspective on different things. Why? Because of that model. You can always refer to that model. If you say why the people in Germany they feel like it, but not in Finland, you can go to the model, can find some explanation. Okay, so I don't go for that. Okay, so after this, pandemic came, right? Pandemic came, and then one day I talk to my students regularly once per week online, and then I said, I found something wrong about sample. First of all, is number one, the wrong thing is when people first assemble the robot, everyone thought that was an R2D2 or BBA in Star Wars. So they expect like this high. Okay, and then even though when we conduct experiment, we control the experiment, we told them please just follow the protocol 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we don't do 7, okay, like this. But however, people would just ignore our instruction, and we try to talk to the robot with other topics. And of course, the robot don't like them just like dummy, right? And once we found the robot is dummy, it's not what they expected. I tell you, you could only keep the attention for only keywords for only less than 20 minutes. They say, oh, it's dummy, it's stupid. So why you put me here? You are wasting my time. Even though I paid them $20, okay? Starbucks keyboard, I'm still wasting the time. That's why there's something wrong. I mean, it's because now the robot technology, as you know, right, is still here. But the movie gave everyone expected like this high. That's the gap. So I say, okay, we should think about another way to conduct this experiment by using some robot. Will not raise the expectation bar too high. And then one day I went to Abertay University in Scotland. I found they have a K9 in the lab at the corner, covered by dust and some garbage. And I said, what the heck? What is that one? They said, oh, the robot dog. I said, really? And then, oh, how come it's here? Oh, no, this is a robot dog from the TV station. Maybe Doctor Who, a series for kids. This dog will fight with the bad aliens. And then, but somehow they finished the series, they gave to them for research purposes. But the rocket could not do much. Just a tool we can walk stupidly, okay? And then that's why after that nobody touch it. And then put it in a corner. And I told my son, yes, bingo. Let's go for animal robot. Because I have 2 dogs at home. I talk to them every day. I'm sure they have no clue what I'm talking about. Only see my expression, my intonation, and guess whether I'm happy or unhappy. Right? Like this. And then that's why we started talking about dogs. How would dogs express their emotion? Right? Because a robot should mimic a human, if a human robot should mimic a human emotion, right? Several animals should mimic animal emotion. And then one thing is about the tails. The tail is definitely #1 for most of the animals. Nobody dogs, cats, coyote, wolf, right? Everything, all right? And then my friend James Young, one of his students, 2017, he put a tails on iRobot, the vacuum. And his research was the robot, this tail just moved for movement and move it randomly, and then just let the arrow to clean the floor in the lab and ask people for the robot and ask people, what do you think of the robot now? Is she happy or unhappy? Just like this, it's a research. I mean, that's bingo. And that inspired us. That's why every time I talk about it, I'll put his face there. Inspire us. Yeah, maybe we can do something like a tail like this easily. And then that's why during the pandemic, my student at home, we prototype a dog like this. 100% homemade.
How is it a bit cute?
100% homemade. 100% homemade, okay. By my students, 100% homemade. Like this. And then after that, we think about other parts of the dog. Eventually, we could go back to the lab. We use all the recycled materials, especially those Amazon cardboard, the parcel, and build the body. And let's say this is the microphone, behind is a Raspberry Pi, okay. And then somehow and then one of my students should make a fur for this dog. We call him Brando, okay. And then we make this prototype. It's a mid-sized dog prototype, okay. We want a mid-sized dog. We don't want to like export like this big, right? That's a monster. We want mid-sized dog, but not too small, right? Not too small. Remember I said about too small, people think it's a toys. Too big, it's too big. We cannot handle. So just mid-sized dog. That's what we want. And then we also create some video to show what this dog can do, and show to our students, and ask them whether they think this is a machine or is a live entity. For example, this is what Zenbo Junior met with Brando, okay? And then,
Hey, Brando. I'm Zenbo Jr., a robotic companion that provides assistance, companionship, and entertainment. I heard that you are a robotic dog. Show me what you can do. Brando, sit. Good boy.
so we made a series of video, but this is one of them, with different interactions with human and robot to robot, even though we covered the fur, okay, the dog, and then somehow you could not see fully inside. And then we showed one video per couple weeks to our student in my class. So we have 12 weeks semester, so 6 videos. And then in the end, we asked them, okay, in the very beginning, I asked them, first video, what do you think? This is a robot or is a machine? And we say it's a robot, or it's a machine, it's still a machine. And then after 12 weeks, one third student, they thought, well, okay, this may be a live entity. Even though we put the Brando in the class, and then I asked my TA kick him down on the floor. And people they feel we are too brutal, they feel sad about the robot. So this is about emotional engagement, somehow. And also as one point you mentioned about the forest, I have some questions for you. But what happened is because we work closely with the Canadian National Institute for the Blind, an NGO, for the visually impaired people. We study just like we finished a project with them, with a report to the government, study about what are the challenges and difficulties the visually impaired people when they get online meetings, when they get all a virtual reality world. Okay, because all this technology, when people design, they never thought about for visually impaired people. They thought you could see, you could hear, just like this way. I mean, and what happened is if you have a robotic dog like this one for visually impaired people or for deaf-blind people, how could they communicate to the dog robot, right? Of course, if they cannot speak or with speech disabilities, most of the cases they use the hand sign language. And then we borrow a group from Japan. They use that for Yamaha music. And then we follow them, and then we let you carry the group and use your hand side to control the robot. This is what it's a implementation. We just test the idea. Okay, so and because of the tail, we successfully replicate what Dr. Professor James Yang did. Professor James Yang is the EIC of the transition of HRY, this but and then in my social robot class in Canada, I asked the student to form a team, for a group. Every group will build a tail for an animal. And this group, I asked them, but you have to tell me what does that movement represent? Happy, unhappy, or aggressive, or sad? So this group, they build a raccoon. They have this little raccoon that's very happy. Okay, something like that. Just give you some idea before. Okay, so because of this, what did I say before? Yes, because of this. That's why because of this, that's why I think I explained why we moved to more focus on the symbolic robot, humanoid robot, right? Animal-like robot. Why we're leaving from the humanoid robot, we find a lot of disappointment. Okay, I would say that. And also why I say size does matter, all right? And okay, so what happened is, I mentioned about we work closely with the Canadian National Institute for the Blind people. And of course, one day they realized we're working on robots. And one of the key person in the CNI, we call CNIB, asked me, why didn't you guys build a robotic guide dog? And I said, why? I said, why? I said, and then I said, because I said, no machine can replace a dog. That's my underline. Okay, I mean my bottom line. Don't say you can a guide dog is also a companion, not only a service dog, right, to work for you. And then they told me why they said that, because number one, because it takes 2 to 4 years to train one guide dog. So let's say today I will visually impaired person, I'm eligible to request a guide dog for a foundation or program. I call them, they say approve it, I wait for 2 to 4 years at home. Why? Because they do matchmaking. They find a dog can match with me, and not all the dogs can be a guide dog. Secondary, they train the dogs. It takes time. Okay. Second, it costs about $50,000 at least, and they said, okay, that's why maybe robot can help. And then I still said no. I said guide dog, they're not only as a navigators, they're not GPS. You just use a phone, right? While you robots, right? They are more than a companion, right? Your friend, right? Your family member, and emotional engagement, right? Your dog, right? It's not only for, and then we have a lot of discussion. And then, okay, give me discussion. I look into around the world, people they use some technology for guide dog. Some people with device like this, and follow the device to walk. I say, why you just not using your phone and then listen to some audio and use a webcam? Why you have to switch device like this? Like a gun, right? What kind of street, right? I mean, that would scare people in North America. Number two, some people like this, they use a quarterback robot and find a student, cover their eyes, test it, and walk. Fake. This is not so independent people, it's a student. And some people they use a spot with some camera, something. Okay, I mean that's good. I mean that's nice, but those are machine. Those are machine. And eventually I talked with them. I said, okay, I don't think the research, the usage of a robotic guide or the research purpose, ultimate research objective, is not to replace the real guide dog. Maybe what happened is really told me, once the guide dog is ready for me, for example, I will take a guide dog, I wait for 4 years. Okay, your guide dog is ready, well trained. And then what happened is they will have a coach from the program, will stay with me for a few months. Make sure I know how to talk to the dogs, communicate with dogs, interact with dogs, and we know each other. Because the guide dog doesn't read traffic light. Is I go through when you cross the street, I hear where is a red light, I say stop. I don't know to go forward or turn left or right. I give the dog instructions. The dog just makes sure I'm safe. So that's why I think about, okay, so it takes a few months or more than a few months to train the person, the visually impaired people, interact with a guide dog. And that is after the dog is ready. So I said, okay, maybe we can use this robot as an assistive technology to train the person up to some level, some command, basic interaction before the guide dog is ready. I will be training from this slide to move to a bit further ahead. And that's why I put all this principle here. More or less, I'll say, no, I'm not going to replace a real guide dog. I'm not going to do that. And we may ask me, what kind of interaction with a guide dog? You have to train the guide dog and the person. For example, like this one, you see when a guide dog, this is in Taiwan, we find one program they show us. When the guide dog walk, when the guide dog see they're staying in front of you, the guide dog will put the first front head on the first step and let you feel about the handle is not upper position. That's why you know something is in front of you, is a stair. So you have to know. They have to train the guide dog this technique, right? You have to train the person, understand. So it takes time. Okay? And even though you take a look, continue. The guide dog will not walk. You say, oh, go straight. The guide dog doesn't go straight. Go like this. Why? Because the guide dog wants you to feel her body, your leg, make you feel safe. You see, guide dog always like this a bit, not very strict. It's all the thing. You see, go up here. You see, guide dog always use the body to touch the visually impaired person, like very nearby. And then if you say, okay, I will find a chair. What the guide dog will do is the guide dog will go to the chair and put his head on the chair. And then you feel touch the head, you know there's a chair. So all these things, more than this, okay? All these things, you have not only trained the guide dog, have to train the person, the human, to understand it. So it takes time. So I think, okay, might be we can move the training session in advance. That may help. I'm not, I say I still don't believe those projects they work. I found one company in Brazil, they said they're picking like a vacuum and for the vacuum to walk. I don't know where to buy it. Nobody on the street and carry a vacuum like this and walking on the street, a robot. Why don't you put the person on a wheelchair, autonomous wheelchair, and drive on this wheelchair, right? Why you do that, right? I don't see any reason. And eventually, we use a cosmetic robot up there, and then we build the body. Why build the body? You see, most of that project, they just use a robot, just walk like this, right? I think why I said they never really touch or talk with the visual impaired people, because visual impaired people, they rely on haptic feedback. You see, this is the conference in Toronto visual impaired people. When my student told this guy, there's a robotic guide dog in front of you. What did he do? You see. He touched it. Kind of shape. It's kind of like uncanny valley, but it's by haptic feedback this time, not by vision. Okay. So his dog just looks very boring, you know. Say a stupid robot, you know. It's a stupid robot. And that's why we make this body. Besides tail. This is not the final, this is not the final thing. This is what we call the co-design workshop. Yes, before we show the prototype, we co-design with the people, visual impairments. And then besides the dog has a body with a heartbeat as well. You can touch the heartbeat. Also, if I put the head in front of the nose, he can feel the breathing. Why breathing? Because dogs, they don't laugh and smile. All right, don't say ha ha ha, no. Hi. It means it's laughing. So through that, and then for this one, another testing in a farmhouse with my friend. He's a visually impaired person. He has a dogs at home because the farmhouse and his wife is a dog breeder. And the first time when the dogs saw this robot, they were all confused. They look at all the dogs look at the robot, and then until one of the dogs was very brave, approached the robot and smell it, and found no smell, they all ignore it. Okay, so but this thing is, for example, we found that okay, the height is not tall enough. It's much taller, but I mean, maybe we have to use another version of the robot with longer leg. Even though the dog is in rest, it should also behave like a dog. So that's why we are still testing this one. We are going to test. We test about 35 visually impaired people in Toronto and Vancouver, and then we collect a lot of requirements, the feedback, and we design again. And then we are going to test again this year, October, in Toronto, Edmonton, in Canada. Let me move on. Yes, this one is just showing you an example. Yes, when we test about uncanny valley effect, right? So what happened is, because this dog cannot really walk and move, right? The prototype. But when we really scan this dog, put inside VR world, we can do whatever we like. What happens if you're in a VR world, you goggles, right? You see this thing? The appearance doesn't matter to you. Okay. You say this VR is okay, just take a walk with the dog, with relaxation, for mindfulness meditation, for example. Would you prefer a more realistic dog or a robotic dog? Is there differences? This is what we want to test in the future. Spot recently, they covered their spot like a big dog called Sparkles. Just 1 month ago, they announced this one. And this is a video we filmed on campus where our puppy met with the spot. This spot is from the engineering, not from my lab in engineering. They use this spot to patrol the power grid. Okay, so this one. And then when we show this video to many people, for those that are not in social robot robotics, they told me that, okay, you have a puppy, okay, you're a dog. They have a insect, a monster. Like this, okay. So another project, what we are doing now is this one. My student in Taiwan now, they're working on this one to build a tiger. This is our dog, right? And this is our tiger. And why we build a tiger? Because you see the monkeys here. See the monkeys, okay. So this is not in Canada. This is in Malaysia. Okay, in Malaysia, so we work with our research partner over there on the campus. And then what happened is, one day the professor told me that, why didn't you guys make a tiger robot? I said, for what? Again, I don't for what? He said, oh, no, follow me, I'll show you why for what. He carried me to the cafeteria on campus, all the monkeys there. And the monkeys, they're not afraid of humans and dogs. And they just grab the food, whatever, and this very disturbing. Like in the dormitory on campus, if you did not close the windows, the monkey will just dip into your room. This is what we film it, okay? And then fill your room and then find something they want. And then this monkey, he found a pistol. So all is very, very disturbing their life on campus. And what they do is they sometimes it's too much. Just campus security, they put some tiger statue to scare away this monkey. Because this monkey, they're not for human and dogs, they offer one predator, Malayan tigers. They know they're not friendly. Okay? That's how, okay, so why don't we build a tiger? I said, okay, that's interesting. That's I see the reason why. And then what happened is we are now designing this tiger, not only appearance and behavior, like big cat, right? The tail is much longer. The mechanical perspective is more complicated with 6 degrees of freedom. And also the voice. And also one important thing is what the smell. The smell and the sense. How does a tiger smell like? The tiger smell like, if you go to Thailand, Bangkok, for example, there's a tiger park there. You pay money, you can have a big tiger and selfie. It's very safe. There's a big cat, They all well trained at the tiger. If you smell that, or if you still don't know, you go to Scotland and somehow you find those what you call like the Home Depot in Canada. You buy those material, those stuff for your garden, your backyard. And then what happens is in Scotland, people they hate the cats from the neighbor come to your backyard in peace. They hate that. What did they do is they buy a spray from those shops, and that spray is an artificial tiger smell. And then spray your garden, the cats will not come. And how does that smell look like? That smell look like a butter popcorn. And this is what we are doing now. My students are doing like summer. And we hope that we can test it in Malaysia, maybe by Christmas this year, hopefully. And yeah, the uncanny valley, and also we work on the uncanny valley, like one of my students, she finished her master's thesis. So she tests all this 4-leg quadruped robot. And we train a machine to understand cat, dogs, and all these 4-leg animals. And then we ask the machine, do you think that the affinity of this different robot? And in the end, she could find a similar curve like uncanny valley. So these are real dogs up there, of course, right?
Yeah.
This one looks a bit creepy, albino, drop down, so boxy, right? But the only eye looks so cute. That's why up here, okay. And then these are spot. This is the gold one, and this is our guide dog, right? Like this one is a bit higher, it's much better because with the dog face, the body. So, and what I said what we do next year is about the size. Not because uncanny valley, the effect, the theory is they only think about the appearance and the behavior, but up to our best knowledge, they may not talk too much about the size. But what I told you in Brazil, we learned the size doesn't matter, and also we think about the color as well. Why sport is here with the color yellow. What animals with yellow color? Only maybe tiger, right? With a yellowish color, right? Like that. But anyway, this is what we have done, and I can show you and another like a quick video. Yeah. So this is okay. So I finish here. Thank you. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.